Welcome to Pod Caviar, episode 6. I'm your host, Tony, and today I have a special guest, Graham. You may know him from Sports with a Capital F podcast, and I've plugged this on my show plenty of times.
Absolutely, I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you back on the show. This is amazing. We just got finished doing an episode of your podcast, and we are going to continue it on this podcast, Pod Caviar. This is the classic. What is it? What is it when they do it on shows where it's like maybe like SVU,
like a crossover
episode. Yeah. This is the classic crossover episode.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm with it's the Mayweather McGregor.
Yes, it is.
Podcast.
Yeah. I love this, and just some things that we wanted to talk about. Last episode was awesome. I like that, and like I said last episode, there's some times where I run through the episode and I have things that I want to talk about, and then I just go off on a tangent, and that's what podcasting is really about. I do things, I talk about things, and you guys listen, and as always, I am so thankful for everybody who listens and gives me feedback, positive or negative. I appreciate that. And let me go ahead. If you haven't seen it already, I do have a number, 443-747-1417. You can call up. You can text me. You can text that number. You can call and leave a voicemail, and then you have a great chance of having that voicemail featured on a future episode. And ask me a question. Give me just whatever you want to do, and we'll go from there. And I will respond because I love my fans. And yeah, so I always do the all the advertising and everything at the beginning. So Graham, if you want to go ahead and do some advertising,
absolutely.
You can definitely.
Yeah, I'll be at the Brea Improv on May. I'm not going to be at any of those places. I should do that though. Sometimes start telling people I'm going to be places.
Yeah.
It'd be a
Fuck it, why not? Yeah.
Who knows? Somebody might get upset about something I said. But yeah, I'm Graham. You can check out the Sports with a Capital F podcast. It's my podcast. Mm-hmm. It's a podcast about sports. About half the time is the tagline, but it's actually about sports way more than half the time.
Yeah.
It's not about sports. So it's a good time. We have a good time. Guests. I do them solo. I have a rotating group of people that I enjoy podcasting with, Tony included.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to say hello to any listeners that may have drugged themselves over from the most recent Sports with Capital F podcast to continue this discussion about the robot takeover of
definitely
the planet.
Definitely. We would definitely touch on to that.
One more thing. At CapF Sports everywhere. Hashtag CapF Sports. Facebook.com/CapF Sports. And just type sports with a capital F into your local search engine. That's how you find things.
Exactly.
I really should. Yeah. I apologize for it.
No. It's cool. Yeah.
I hate when people do that. They're like, I'm on Twitter at the name I just told you. I have a website that is this, that has all of this information.
Exactly.
I don't need to feed it to me. But so what about Instagram? Like somebody's gonna come up and be like, but what about Twitter?
What about that, huh?
Do you have a Tumblr? Do you have a Tumblr page?
Yeah.
I don't use Google. I don't believe in it.
Yeah. So what do you got, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What about Snapchat, huh? Big guy, huh? Yeah. Are you everywhere, huh?
Gotta be these days. Gonna be
definitely
oversaturated.
Yeah, you have to oversaturate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is why we shove our advertisements down your throat.
I like that you do it at the beginning. It's a bold move.
Yeah.
Because I added that one little thing at the beginning of my podcast where I plugged the Patreon page.
Yeah.
But I also like to give out the phone number at the very beginning.
Right.
So that you hear it. And then if I say something that enrages you later, you can just start the podcast back over. And I'm like, here's how to get a hold of me.
Yeah. Please. Yes. Yeah. Come at me. Yes.
Come with it.
Are you angry? Yes. Yeah. Let me know.
Especially I want some angry calls. I appreciate all calls though. So.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody gets angry about anything I say here on Pod Caviar, you can hit up the CapF Sports hotline at 847-665-9238 and give me a piece of your mind.
Yes, give him a piece of your mind.
Kick them nasty thoughts.
Because I definitely am not a stranger to saying, I don't give a fuck how you think. I'm just going to be here. I said this last episode, I'm paying for this service, so I'm going to be here.
I'll be here, whether you come or not.
Exactly, yeah. I have no problem sitting in a room talking to myself for many episodes. I don't give a shit. But if you want to take part in it, you can feel free to contact either one of us. And, we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Undoubtedly.
So, we talked about St. Patrick's Day was yesterday, and it was awesome. Graham and I got to hang out with each other at the bar, and
been many years since that was possible.
oh yeah, definitely
Many years since we hung out.
And there was plenty of alcohol consumed then. That was awesome. And
Irish car bombs. I only drink those once a year. I don't know about you. The Irish car bomb.
It is like
it's a once a year drink for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I drink the fuck out of them on a regular basis.
Nope. See, well, I've been to that movie. There was a time in my life where sometimes I'd get bored at the bar because an Irish car bomb will immediately let you know what sort of evening you're going to have.
Exactly.
Like depending on how you could receive it, how you feel initially after you do it, that sort of gives you a very good framework to work with for how the rest of your night.
A barometer, so to speak.
Exactly.
So,
it gets things started.
Yeah. With me, it's tequila shots.
Yeah. See, that's a more year-round thing for me.
Yeah.
But the Irish car bomb these days.
I think we're the opposite because I can do car bombs, but tequila shots. The more tequila I drink, the more the tequila starts to speak to my soul. Like, maybe you want to throw a punch or so.
Nope.
Maybe you want to get an argument.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's a hurdle with tequila for sure, and some people never get over it. So you just eventually learn exactly how much you can have.
Exactly, yeah.
And a lot of trial and error there. If you're in the tequilas, those are deep waters. That's people. People are very cavalier about alcohol,
right?
As though it's not an incredibly powerful drug and poison.
It definitely is.
It's an incredibly powerful drug and poison. Yeah. People are like, oh, this is new crazy weed they've got in the States where weed's legal. Fuck you up. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you might be. But it's not, the adverse effects are you might experience extreme terror and learn some like mental problem solving with crazy herb.
Exactly.
Drink tequila.
Yeah.
Or think about this, like Everclear, they sell that at a store. If you're 21 years old, you can go buy a bottle of what's essentially rubbing alcohol.
Exactly.
And drink
190 proof. If some states don't allow the 190 proof, they allow the more tamed version, which is still
insane,
very strong.
Yeah.
But here in Georgia, we get the 190 proof, and I'm telling you right now, I used to drink that on a regular basis, and you will hear stories about how you acted, and you will not remember any of it.
No.
But people will tell you of it, and I'm glad that I have never really lost friends over that, but I've heard stories, and I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah. If you don't mind, do you mind if I digress a little bit?
Go ahead.
Everclear? Yeah. When we were in the Air Force, and remember we all lived in the dorms, and they made it so you couldn't drink in the dorms anymore. Yeah. Now I was underage.
Yeah.
And I think the statute of limitations is up on this, but I drank a lot when I was underage. I was drunk all the time. We lived in the same building. Every time you saw me, I had a cup in my hand like I was 21.
Right.
But I just...
Right.
Me and Diggs would sit out on the balcony and just drink beers. Yeah. And when we were on swings, we'd be drinking beers like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody,
Yeah, nobody give a damn.
It was a big no-no for the Air Force, but I just did it like I was supposed to be doing it.
Right.
Let everybody think what they will.
Yeah.
And also you're young and you just... You
just
get away... Some stuff you get away with.
Yeah. It's all a crapshoot when you're that young.
Yeah. You're like, this is the things I will do. These are the things I'm not going to do.
Exactly.
We'll see where it lands.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See where it lands. It keeps me up at night. I think about things like that. But to include thinking back on decisions like when the last night, first of all, they shouldn't have told us the day it was going to happen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the day it did happen, we drank quite a bit of Everclear. I don't know. Were you there for that whole evening?
I don't think so because back then I didn't drink nearly as much as I have now because my life has really gone through a ton of phases. Yeah.
Most of them involve alcohol.
Yes.
Really, my life, if you look at it in phases, is just increasing alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I know with me, it's like, we all grew up, we entered the dorms, and then we all had jobs that were stressful and all this shit. And then, I got married, and then progressively it got to the point where I got divorced. And then if it was a graph, the marriage, the timeline of the marriage was going down, and the amount of alcohol consumption rose up.
I think that's probably a pretty familiar graph to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. The alcohol wasn't a reason why we got divorced, but it definitely was that warm blanket that I needed. Yep. Plenty of nights on cold nights. Yeah.
To plow through it.
Yeah. Because it pretty much devastated me, and I was... Ramen noodles and alcohol was...
and you learn it from an early age, I was going to say, because I think when they took drinking out of the dorms, I was like 19 years old, 18.
Yeah.
But society, even though I was underage, it was pretty much societal. Like, oh, you're young, you're in the military. You're, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to buy you a drink.
Yeah. You're going to have some drinks. So we drank, me and 2 other people drank an entire 5th of Everclear.
Yeah.
And man, no, I think it was a bigger bottle. They sell a bigger bottle.
Yeah, they sell a bigger bottle. Yeah.
And it was only a handful of people if it was the bigger bottle. And we drank all of that Everclear, and people got injured.
Yeah.
People were falling asleep on the street in front of the dorms.
Yeah.
It was
I think that
it's weird though that society would be like, oh, they're young, they're doing like, oh, they're just taking poison and blacking out and behaving, you know, in insane ways because their brain is misfiring because of all this poison. But they're like, but if one of those assholes smokes some weed, out on your
get
ass.
them the fuck out of here. Yeah. And the whole reason why they got rid of alcohol in the dorms is because one guy got drunk and he dove off the fucking balcony and shit. So, as in the military, you cannot just you can't just punish one person for being stupid.
Nope.
Everybody gets punished, whether you drank, whether you didn't drink.
As if that's some sort of effective way to prevent those things from happening.
Right.
It's really just a control measure. It doesn't really do it. Because
it's outdated as fuck.
You know what else I did in the dorms after they took drinking out? Drank.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Oh, yeah.
As if nothing had changed.
Yeah. Because it was more of it went from it wasn't a don't drink in the dorms. It was a don't get caught drinking in the dorms.
Right.
And
that was it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too. It's one of those really weird things about being in the Air Force is a lot of times they would say ridiculous things, make ridiculous rules. This was a rule where, because it didn't matter to me, I wasn't supposed to be drinking either way. So when they were like, you can't drink, I'd be like, I wasn't supposed to anyway.
Right.
Just do this.
All right. Fuck it.
Yeah. It's just what I do.
Yeah.
There was like a 1 day break when I got over the hangover from the last day of drinking.
Right.
Air quotes. And then I just started drinking again.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, I forgot where I was going with that. But when they took drinking out of the dorms, it was they were basically telling grown men, because there are people who live in the dorms who come in the military who are over 21.
Yeah.
So now not only are these service members who can't just have a beer when they get off work.
Right.
These are like legal drinking age adults.
Exactly.
Grown up adults.
In America.
Right.
Now,
Serving in the America.
Yeah.
You can't have a beer.
Right.
Right. And that doesn't go for everybody. That's like, oh, if you're just at a lower rank and you live in these particular buildings and that's where you live, like that's where you live. It's like a dinky little, it's like having a studio apartment. They're like, here's your free studio apartment.
And you share the bathroom with somebody else.
Yeah.
That you may or may not like.
Yeah. I was a lot of times the people the other guy didn't like, but I digress.
Yeah.
I kept strange hours. So they tell these adults that they can't drink where they live. It's a very silly thing.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Let's bring this back around. Where did that start? St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, so we had a great time last night.
Yeah, it was a perfect time to talk about a history of drinking.
It was,
to have a little AA meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Have like a little glimpse into our future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So St. Patrick's Day was awesome. We talked about it more in depth. So in the last episode of Sports with a Capital F, check that out. Let's see. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I want to talk about something that I came across earlier today. There was a dude named David Hahn. He was in the Boy Scouts. I don't know if you've ever heard this. There was a badge. They've changed the name of it, but it was called the Atomic Energy Merit Badge.
I am familiar with this a bit.
Really?
I don't want to step on your story here.
Yeah.
You're about to talk about the Atomic Boy Scout?
Guy?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad you know about this. Yeah. He actually he built a reactor in the shed in the back of his parents' house, you know, and it didn't get to the point to where it was fully active, so to speak, but he did have radioactive material. Yeah. He ended up.
I'm glad I'm not on camera because I have a big stupid grin on my face. I know about this guy.
Yeah, he unfortunately he ended up dying from alcohol poisoning. He had a lot of addiction problems and everything. Yeah, he died like in 2016.
Oh, see, I didn't realize he had passed away.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't hear the final chapter.
The thing that I wanted to get into is that it is absolutely feasible and very easy for you to build some sort of nuclear device within your home, and you don't have to be part of some sort of terrorist organization. I'm not telling you to go out there and do it. I'm just saying that things that people think are very difficult to do, it is very easy for you to do these types of things. And then when he did it, like I said, he was part of the Boy Scouts and he made a reactor.
Right.
And it was like, just for a badge for the Boy Scouts.
Well, to touch on what you were just saying there too, though, about it being feasible for someone to do in their home, it's sort of, I regularly go down the atomic war rabbit hole. I know I've really oversaturated my brain with like the Cold War and like atomic testing and just what we did to like the atmosphere and the planet. We were just detonating these massive reality bending bombs. Thousands of them, just detonating them to test them. Just thump,
For a while, it was a dick measuring contest between the U.S. and Russia.
But it was just the ability to destroy matter at an just
Bikini
insane.
Atoll.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other tests.
Nevada and all that shit. Yeah.
At one point, they developed a. I don't know if you've ever seen Trinity and Beyond. It's fantastic.
I love that movie.
It's fantastic.
I love that movie. I love the soundtrack. I listen to it constantly.
A lot of that was crazy. They talked about that Tsar bomb that was super big. That the Russians, a 50 megaton bomb that was a half scale down from a designed 100 megaton bomb. Like some of the math on the 100 megaton bomb said that it might blow a hole in the atmosphere. Yeah. And so they scaled it down. Like it could have been so big that potentially it would have like sucked all, like we would have just been in the vacuum of space.
Right. Yeah.
Sucked out. But so it's insane. But really the one that got me was when they built the atomic cannon, where they had like the
I saw that.
It was like a 5 kiloton. It was a small, like a 5 kiloton just like artillery round. They shot it out of a cannon.
That's the tactical nuke, where you need to radiate a certain area.
Right.
And then you have the tactical nuke, and then you have like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuke, where you just drop it and you're like, fuck your city. It's gone,
by the time, but see, realistically, by the time we got into like the Cold War, the yield of the nuclear weapons went
up.
Well, it was the hydrogen bomb changed the game. Then you're talking, because it's like kilotons are like thousands of tons of TNT. And then once they started fucking with like the building block of all life on this planet and figured out how to split that. Now hydrogen changed the game. It made it so that these nuclear weapons were measured in the millions, the megatons, the millions of sticks of TNT. Right? Pounds of TNT. So 1 megaton is 1 million pounds of TNT. So the bomb, the Tsar bomb the Russians blew up, was 50 million. 50 million pounds of TNT.
There's a video on YouTube where a guy goes through it and says that if the reason why they don't test nuclear weapons, or they stop testing nuclear weapons under the water, is because the pressure would be so much that it would possibly. His example was, if somebody took a nuclear bomb and they detonated it, if they were able to detonate it in the Marianas Trench, the deepest point in the ocean, he said that the potential effect could possibly split the Earth, actually crack the fucking planet, because that's just how damaging and powerful nuclear weapons are.
No, there was a lot of stuff in the early days of testing nuclear weapons where very, very smart people who understood physics at the highest level available to them then, which is a lot of that is still mind-bending to the average person. Considering what they accomplished and figuring out how to split atoms is and then discovering that there's energy, the amount of energy stored in there, in the building blocks of all of earthly creation and the whole solar system, or the universe, is made of all of these materials. And if you like fuck with what keeps them together, you can really do a lot of damage. And that was the deal with that atomic Boy Scout kid. So I go down the nuclear rabbit hole. I watch all these documentaries. Especially when I was in college, I studied history, so I would use time at the library just on my own to freak myself the fuck out about what all these talking monkeys figured
Right,
out
yeah,
how to do.
yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no,
So
you-
this is just a normal kid, and he wanted
Yeah.
to get a badge for the Boy Scouts, and he built a nuclear reactor. This isn't the first time somebody has made a nuclear reactor in their kitchen. I think there was a dude from the UK who did the same thing, but he got stopped because he was a part of a online forum where people tried to make nuclear reactors.
Yeah.
You can do this. It won't be. You can't like power your house off of it because you're not going to be able to have that much. You're not going to be able to enrich the materials and make it big enough to where you can power your house, but
Right.
you can make a nuclear reactor. That is something that people can do. It's
Yeah.
just it's just something to discuss, and it's water cooler talk basically that
Right.
people can do this.
Right. Well, and
You
what the
know?
Atomic Boy Scout 2 was trying to achieve is actually pretty, it's very forward in the concept of nuclear power. It's called a breeder reactor. I couldn't remember what it was called, so I had to look up what the reactor was
Right,
called. But
yeah,
the
yeah.
specific thing he was trying to do
Yeah.
was create this reactor that makes more fissile material, like the enriched material you need
Right,
for
yeah.
a nuclear
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah,
It
yeah.
actually creates more of that than it consumes. It's like a
Okay,
theoretical
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
which-
So it's like a perpetual, like a
Right, it's
continuous
mathematically
energy. Yeah.
proper,
Yeah.
possible, but
Yeah.
no one's figured out the engineering. So that was sort of what he was after. But he was also in his shed in his backyard, and that's where I was going earlier. Was I was
Yeah.
going to say my freaking out about nuclear weapons. You obviously land at some point at, well, could just some dude
Yeah.
like create, because he wasn't making he was making a reactor that's super dangerous, but it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But like if he's
Yeah.
making a reactor, that means he has fissionable material.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like, so if you really applied yourself, could you
You could.
make
You
a
can buy
nuclear bomb?
uranium. You can buy depleted uranium off the internet from a very popular website that people use many times a day. I'm not going to say the name, but it's there.
Wow.
And like I said, you got the Atomic Boy Scout. You got many other people try to do this, and it's going to get to the point to where somebody is going to get lucky and fucking.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Right. Well, and there was a documentary I watched, and I was like, "Why did you say that?" But it was a documentary about nuclear war, basically, but about like weird accidents, like in the '60s when a B-2 bomber just like the bomb bays opened and a nuclear bomb fell
Yeah,
out in South
yeah.
Carolina and like went
Yeah.
through someone's house. It just wasn't armed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a giant hydrogen bomb could have accidentally just been detonated.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a nuclear bomb off the shore of Savannah.
Yeah.
But they said it's probably dead now,
Yeah,
and it's covered
probably-
in like
sure
mud and
it's-
shit.
yeah, I'm sure it's
that
leaking
was-
radiation, but-
Yeah, this was a while ago. So,
But there was one in South Carolina that just fell out of a plane.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine what would have changed the course of American history if like a 10 megaton nuclear bomb was detonated in South Carolina in the 60s?
Yeah.
Although maybe it would have just been a footnote, like,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah.
is terrible, but there wouldn't be a lot of footage of it. It wouldn't be like if it happened now. Like if
Right,
a bomb
yeah.
was if a bomb was accidentally dropped now,
People would lose their shit.
it would be
Yeah.
their theories about what happened. If it was just an accident, right? Because we were in
Right,
the Air
yeah.
Force around people
Yeah,
who work
yeah.
on airplanes.
Yeah.
You know
Some
what
of these
I
people
mean?
did not need to be working on
No,
anything.
and they were.
Yeah.
And some of them were like the hardest workers.
Yeah,
They'd be like, you
yeah.
shouldn't be touching stuff.
yeah. It's like those motherfuckers that will work tirelessly,
Right.
and you're like, you're just fucking everything up.
So an
Just stop.
accident seems more likely than a crazy conspiracy by leaps and bounds.
Yeah,
And
but like I said, conspiracies don't have limits.
no,
You know, they
It's fine.
definitely
There's
don't.
never- but if a nuclear bomb went off in this country, the theories about why, it would almost assuredly be an accident.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
people are
Yeah, people are just,
untrustworthy. But yeah, but the nuclear destruction, I can
Yeah.
go on and on. You could put possibly too, because obviously the greatest story ever told involving nuclear holocaust is Terminator, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah, it is.
the
yeah.
concept that there is a global computer network
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
decides our fate.
Yeah. I think we're moving towards that.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in your last episode.
Yeah, this was
with
the
the fucking Alexas
continuation.
were randomly you're laughing at people. Listen, I'm not going to get into it here, but go to the last episode, Sports with a Capital F. We talked about
We
this.
can recap it. It's fine.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, we- we
this is
talked
the
about-
continuation of the conversation
It
at the
is,
end
yeah.
of the last podcast.
Yeah, and we haven't
of the
gotten
Sports
to
with
the
Capital
meat and
podcast.
potatoes though. But we talked about how the Alexas, some people's Alexas were randomly laughing at them. Amazon's they supplied Alexa. Their response was, it's not programmed to do that. It's not something that we programmed it to do, and we don't know why it's happening. So there were people who were having Alexa in their home, and then all of a sudden it would just laugh. I heard the laugh, and it was spooky as shit, and it was completely something that really shook me. And I'm glad I don't have an Alexa. But Graham, you said that it was just the computers laughing at us because they become that advanced, right?
Well, and it's sort of the Skynet thing is terrifying. And obviously this is a thought exercise, but it's also not, because if you already have, someone was like, oh, here's this crazy thing that could happen, and then there's this company that's like, well, we have all your information. Now you're voluntarily putting listening devices in your home. So we're getting a really good understanding now, like aggregating a great understanding in our neural net that we're trying to build. They're like, we're building a neural net, and not like in an android's head, like a global computer consciousness, essentially. And I'm not fucking like, this isn't like a
this
weird
shit is real. No, this is real.
They really are trying to build some sort of spooky global computer consciousness, and like and like I was saying, like they've maybe have figured out that that's a way to taunt us or to like announce their presence in some way. And like you were saying, the way that a computer would perceive reality is
completely different than how humans receive it.
Because as humans, we've evolved to perceive reality in a specific way. We don't see infrared, we don't see ultraviolet, we don't see magnetic waves. They exist, they're part of reality. But our eyes evolved to like go, oh shit, that's a lion, and like run and hide and walk upright, or be like, hey, we can eat that, and walk over there. So it's very utilitarian. But if you're a computer and all of the things I just described that we don't see are a matter of calculation and science, they can show you it. They make a camera that can show you all these all these waves of reality. It really is an alternate reality.
It is. It definitely is.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to say alternate, but it's like a reality that you don't perceive that's always there.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a magnetic fields around things. There's UV light, there's what's the other end of the light spectrum? There's UV and infrared. There's all these spectra. So a computer would perceive even consciousness and the importance of humanity. It would perceive that in ways we can't comprehend, because it's not designed in any way to perceive us the way we perceive one another. Like, oh, we need friendship, companionship, like we see each other like, oh shit, that's because we're fragile talking monkeys that have at some point had to start being able to socialize with one another in an effort to survive as a species. And now you get into how would a computer view that? It would eliminate any of it's not just about it being soulless either, or evil, or maniacal in a lot of ways science fiction has. It just would perceive things in a way we, especially if we're just building it and kind of letting it become its own thing, this aggregation of all of human experience. Like how it will perceive, how its consciousness will exist, will be something we won't understand, and possibly won't see until it's too late. Could be good, I don't know. Or it could just be like, oh, okay, well, everything you see will be an ad for Pepsi. Like one guy will have his finger on the button that tells the AI what to do. And it's just going to be the dystopian future is just you see ads, like you like wake up and you open your eyes and it's like, have some Hillsborough Farms coffee.
It's like it'll be a mix between, I think that it'll be a mix between Blade Runner and The Fifth Element, where it's like,
fantastic visions of the future. Fifth Element, I love it. He's like a taxi driver just plodding along in his life, and everyone's just plodding along. They show the guys who work on the ship, but who are like working at the space airport. And they're just like fat dudes, like smoking cigars.
The big pile of trash they just can't get rid of, and everything is just like, fuck. This is the future.
That seems way more likely than anything shiny. But if you get, combine that though too with a computer consciousness that basically tells big chunks of humanity how they feel about things. They already are controlling the way we interact with people. I mean, the bots that you see on Twitter and Facebook and those things are created by a person, but eventually they just take it and run with it. And they have a American flag as an avatar, and this bot goes on Twitter and is like, Muslims kill 500 Americans every day in 10 seconds. And then there's another bot that's like, did you know Anne Frank was black? Like, hey brother, did you know that Anne Frank was black? Like, and it's a big lie. And like, and then there's another one that's like, Obama was a Jewish or whatever. Like, there's always something.
It's always silly. Something. Yeah, it goes crazy, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Dude, that's a computer creating fake information in an effort to disrupt the way we interact with each other on a day-to-day basis as a species.
Yeah.
We're right at 30 minutes, too, just in case you needed to check in.
Well, let's go and let's go.
We don't have to move on. I just wanted to let you know because you can't see the timer.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, like we're just saying, we are in a time where technology is really more so becoming more, and South Park did this. They did a whole season about this where you couldn't tell an ad from an ad, and then an ad became like a person.
Yep.
But instead of seeing a physical person that's an ad, it's online. So we have trouble telling who's the bots and who's the real people.
Right, because you've already trained yourself online to see someone's avatar or their Twitter handle or their Facebook picture. Like that's that person.
Yeah.
And this is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And
then a lot of times their message would be so provocative, and it would just trigger you to where you're not going to be able to. Because if you look at somebody, you can tell that they're a bot. But if they trigger something in you, then you're like, "Fuck it, I'm going to go with that," and we're going back and forth.
Yeah, if you're not willing to go look.
Right? Yeah.
It's usually very clear.
Oh yeah,
it's very clear.
It definitely is. Yeah. So this is the future that we're headed to, and I just want to educate motherfuckers. I don't want to scare anybody.
Absolutely. Well, it's just a thought experiment, too.
It is.
You got to think about these things. There's nothing. We're not going to do shit about it.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not doing. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat food. Eventually, robots will be responsible for filling that building down the street up with food.
Exactly.
I can be like, we're fragile animals, and we were designed to. But we also figured out a way to be like, we have fresh vegetables year round in a building.
Exactly.
There
was an episode because Amazon Prime TV, they have their version of Black Mirror, and there was an episode where they were in a future. And there was a factory that was completely ran by robots, and they just kept delivering goods to people. And the people were like, yo, this shit is taking up too much space. We don't need this shit. So they finally they sent a cyborg out to talk to the people. And it was like, hey, they were like, hey, you need us. Well, you need these goods. And they're like, no, we don't. You see it piled up in the parking lots and everything.
Right.
And we don't need this shit. And the robot was like, no, you do. So they ended up really.
So it was like sending people blenders and shit.
Yeah, it was just weird shit, like goods and shit that the machines had. They aggregated all this information, and they were like, okay, well, we know what they need, so we're just going to keep providing it.
Right.
And they know that blenders last this much. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need a new blender after this much, and toasters and shit like that.
Wow.
And it was so much waste. What happened was they had to inject a virus into the factories that were linked up to each other and ended up shutting them down and everything.
Right.
But that was a great episode.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert. I don't think anybody's going to check for that because it didn't really get good reviews.
Yeah, and I didn't. You just said it was a show that was Amazon taking a stab at Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Some Black Mirror episodes suck. Some of them are profound and mind bending, but some of them suck too.
Right.
So if you tried to do that show, you probably have way more misses.
But the thing is, Amazon spent way more money on getting name brand actors. Ooh. Yeah. Because it's like you can go through the episodes and you'll be like, hey, I know that motherfucker. Hey, oh shit. But it was like this episode was okay. And then like
a little bit more of a Twilight Zone kind of thing.
Yeah. But like most of the episodes were just, whatever. But that one stood out as something that could possibly happen. And what I want to get into, what I talked about before, is the Cuil theory, which is... let me look up I had the definition.
Can you carry this for like 2 minutes while I
go
use the bathroom?
Yeah.
That was kind of a dick question. Sorry. Hey, can you carry your own podcast?
Yeah, right.
I really meant to say, can I go use the bathroom without interrupting the flow of the podcast?
Oh yeah. A Cuil, for those who aren't familiar with this, it's a unit of measurement in the Cuil theory for the level of abstraction away from the reality of a situation. It was created to lampoon the terrible search engine capabilities of the Cuil search engine while providing a functionality stimulating the idea about the interrelationship between tangential things. One thing is that back in the day, they had a search engine, Cuil search engine, and it was notoriously bad. So you type in something, and the results you got back was so crazy that it wasn't of use of anything. You couldn't make sense out of it. And the video that we're gonna play is the Cuil theory, is what it's called on YouTube and everything. You can Google it or YouTube it. And it was about a hamburger. And then each Cuil is a unit of measurement, of course, like I said. And it gets progressively worse as you go along. And it's interesting to hear it. But for me, my theory is that back in the day, on the surface, it looks like a bad search engine. Imagine you go to Google and you search for something and you don't get any results, and it's something that frustrates you. So back then, when people were trying to make search engines, Google obviously took the reins over it, but you had the Cuil search engine, you had other search engines, but this one stood out for me, and we're gonna play the Cuil theory, and it's a couple minutes, and it's very interesting. So I don't think, Graham, you haven't heard this.
No, I've never heard this. This is fresh.
This is gonna fucking blow your mind.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I do apologize for taking a bathroom.
No, it's
there,
fine. Yeah,
quick,
we've been drinking our ass off. Yeah,
and I
beer
wanted to
shit.
say, so you've already explained where this is headed.
Yeah,
you don't have to recap it. I'll listen to it when I listen to the podcast. But so this is just so I make sure I'm on the same page. So this is a basically, they attempted to make a search engine, and this somehow aggregated the data they collected from the search engine to kind of try to figure out basically to figure out human interaction, like you were talking about, like the way a computer consciousness would perceive the world. All right, there we go. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Let's make the Cuil a unit of measurement. One Cuil would be one level of abstraction away from the reality of a situation. For example, you ask me for a hamburger. At 1 Cuil, if you asked me for a hamburger and I gave you a raccoon. At 2 Cuils, if you asked me for a hamburger, but it turns out I don't really exist. Where I was originally standing, a picture of a hamburger rests on the ground. At 3 Cuils, you awake as a hamburger. You start screaming only to have special sauce fly from your lips. The world is in sepia. At 4 Cuils, why are we speaking German? A mime cries softly as he cradles a young cow. Your grandfather stares at you as the cow falls apart into patties. You look down only to see me with pickles for eyes. I am singing the song that gives birth to the universe. At 5 Cuils, you ask for a hamburger. I give you a hamburger. You raise it to your lips and take a bite. Your eye twitches involuntarily. Across the street, a father of 3 falls down the stairs. You swallow and look down at the hamburger in your hands. I give you a hamburger. You swallow and look down at the hamburger in your hands. You cannot swallow. There are children at the top of the stairs. A pickle shifts uneasily under the bun. I give you a hamburger. You look at my face and I am pleading with you. The children are crying now. You raise the hamburger to your lips. Tears stream down your face as you take a bite. I give you a hamburger. You are on your knees. You plead with me to go across the street. I hear only children's laughter. I give you a hamburger. You are screaming as you fall down the stairs. I am your child. You cannot see anything. You take a bite of the hamburger. The concrete rushes up to meet you. You awake with a start in your own bed. Your eye twitches involuntarily. I give you a hamburger. As you kill me, I do not make a sound. I give you a hamburger. At 6 Cuils, you ask me for a hamburger. My attempt to reciprocate is cut brutally short as my body experiences a sudden lack of electrons. Across a variety of hidden dimensions, you are dismayed. John Lennon hands me an apple, but it slips through my fingers. I am reborn as an ocelot. You disapprove. A crack echoes through the universe in defiance of conventional physics as cosmological background noise shifts from randomness to a perfect A-flat. Children everywhere stop what they are doing and hum along in perfect pitch with the background radiation. Birds fall from the sky as the sun engulfs the earth. You hesitate momentarily before allowing yourself to assume the locus of all knowledge. Entropy crumbles as you peruse the information contained within the universe. A small library in Phoenix ceases to exist. You stumble under the weight of everythingness. Your mouth opens up to cry out and collapses around your body before blinking you out of the spatial plane. You exist only within the fourth dimension. The fountainhead of all knowledge rolls along the ground and collides with a small dog. My head tastes sideways as space-time is re-established. You blink back into the corporeal world, disoriented only for me to hand you a hamburger as my body collapses under the strain of reconstitution. The universe has reasserted itself. A particular small dog is fed steak for the rest of its natural life. You die in a freak accident moments later, and your soul works at the returns desk for the Phoenix Library. You disapprove. Your disapproval sends ripples through the interdimensional void between life and death. A small child begins to cry as he walks toward the stairway where his father stands.
Well, fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
so what was I just exposed to, though? Was that so? That was not that wasn't written by a person. Like
No.
a human being didn't sit down and
No.
write that. I mean, I know the music probably makes it seem like 'cause,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it definitely
yeah.
adds to it, which is fantastic.
Right. It seems poetic in a way. Every Cuil is in an abstraction from reality. So, you know, how you Google something, the more the pages that you go on, the more away from what you searched is displayed.
Right.
Google does a real good job of giving you, for the most part, exactly what you search for. The
Right.
Cuil search engine, on the other hand, was random. It was information that was interpreted
Somehow
in a way.
related in a very tertiary fashion, or
Yeah.
like 6 degrees of separation.
Exactly,
That was
yeah.
sort of what I felt like I heard.
Yeah.
It was man, there were like the themes.
Yes.
You know, of all these events and sort
Yeah.
of the flow of events.
Yeah.
That surround this hamburger really was absurd. And how old is that particular thing?
It's got to be like early 90s, man.
Oh,
I'm telling
okay,
you,
that's
like,
crazy.
I think I'm pretty sure it predated Google.
Have you been exposed to any of the Google Deep Blue images?
I don't think so,
Let me
no.
see here. I can
No.
probably just pull up a picture for you. But basically what it is, and I encourage everyone to look at it,
Mm-hmm.
the Google... Essentially, Deep Blue was an attempt to show you what an AI would see perceiving the world, if I'm not totally mistaken, because it was super complicated.
Yeah. That's actually very interesting.
So what it did, though, was so as it's looking at things, it's running through a database of things what it's looking at could be. So now, like, a picture of a park, there's like tree looks like a dog. It has like a dog's face in it and ears. It's really, it's super trippy.
See, and that could be the evolution of the Cuil theory in a way that makes it more,
Deep Dream, not Deep Blue.
Okay,
Yeah,
more relatable
so-
or understandable to humans, you know.
Right, it's basically collecting all of this information. And this is just kind of where it's at now. Like, here's the classic, here's one I'll show you.
Okay.
This is the classic, like, dogs playing poker picture.
Yeah.
And here, it'll load up, and I'll try to describe it as best we can. Hold on, give me a second. The way the computer interprets the image is basically, I'll get zoomed in real close on that. There you go. You can kind of describe what you see here. A lot of things look like insect eyes.
Right.
and
Yeah.
mouths
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's
other
crazy.
animals.
Yeah. Wow.
See, and there's video of that too, and the videos of the Deep Dream are super insane. Someone did a Bob Ross episode, and they put it through the Deep Dream thing,
Yeah.
and so the whole time he's talking, like his face, like his beard and his mustache look like a crab. His face looks like dogs and cats and different people,
really?
constantly shifting.
Yeah.
You know, his
Yeah.
hair looks like a centipede or a seashell.
Yeah.
Or like, you know,
What?
his hands look like insect eyes and his arms like a spider's arms, or it's a tree branch,
Right.
but it's like happening instantaneously. Boom, 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 boom. It's just running through these images, and it's
Wow.
it's the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. It's
Yeah.
definitely the closest thing I've ever seen to like what a person sees during a psychedelic experience. Like,
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean it's amplified, obviously, but it's pretty close in a lot of ways from
Yeah.
what I've heard.
Hell yeah.
But
yeah, I guess if you could take the Cuil theory and put it into a picture, this would definitely be it. And it's crazy. 'Cause when I first heard about it, I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, see, I was aware of that. I didn't
yeah.
realize that was preceded by a computer
Yeah.
having a psychedelic shattering of reality
Pretty much,
happen
yeah.
when it tries to aggregate human consciousness
Oh, yeah.
or perception. Like you said, see, there it is. This is why I was excited to jump over to your podcast and
Yeah,
get real
yeah.
deep into this, because
Yeah.
the concept, I can do it all day, like rolling over shit in my mind about
Right.
how would a computer perceive our world, just
Yeah.
like us as
yeah.
a species.
And now you have two examples of how,
Yeah,
you know,
where they're headed with it.
yeah.
You know?
And that Cuil theory was just, I give you a hamburger, you know, like,
It's like the early development of like eyes and ears.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's how the computer perceived the world
Oh, yeah.
3 or 4 years ago. Who knows how it sees it now?
Right.
But that was the image they had. The one I showed you is, you know,
Yeah.
that's the image.
Which is
and
unbelievably
before
crazy.
that, it was just sort of trying to understand the way we communicate with one another, just
Yeah.
with language.
Oh, yeah.
This is the evolution of that. Is it now trying to figure out how we see the world? Mm-hmm. Like what the value is in our spatial
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah.
like around us.
it's
nuts.
all evolving at a very fast pace, you know. And they had
It's
a
gonna be
story
something we don't get.
They had a story that was blown out of proportion to where I think Facebook had set up an AI, and then they gave it like the rudimentary or very basic skills for a language, but then it went ahead and it started to communicate with itself with a made-up language. So people started to say that, oh my God, they had to shut it down because it was taking control and it was, you know, speaking in a language that we didn't understand. And then,
Yep.
you know, and it ended up being that they gave it the language, and then it couldn't really interpret the language, but it started extrapolating certain things of the language, and then it basically became gibberish.
Right, I do remember that.
Yeah, and
But-
then they shut it down.
But they were communicating with one
They were,
another
yeah.
in this strange gibberish
Yeah.
that they had constructed.
Exactly.
And just us as the way, because we perceive reality the way we perceive it.
Yeah.
Someone was smart enough to be like, yeah, we don't understand
yeah,
what that is.
Yeah, we don't know
They're
what the
not-
fuck they're talking about,
Yeah.
so we're gonna kill this immediately.
We did not sign up to have these. Aren't supposed to be communicating
Yeah.
with one another. We
Yeah.
didn't set that up. It's time
Exactly.
for that to not happen.
Yeah.
And
So we're at the point now to where we can shut down AIs when they start doing that. In the future, there could be somebody who creates something in their basement that
one-
will just
it
continue to go.
if you consider the inevitability of this global computer consciousness,
Yeah.
it's in some ways you could look at it as it's running right now. Like we're feeding
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
We're all of us as a species, anyone who's connected to the internet, which is pretty much everybody now,
yeah. Yeah.
right? Like the percentage is probably a vast majority.
Yeah.
And Google Maps and all of these ways we've,
Yeah.
aggregate all this data about the way we
Yeah.
control things. This is gonna happen, so it's kind of happening right now. It's
Yeah.
running right now. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
collecting information. It has.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's crawling. It's doing that weird deer
Yeah.
wobble walk thing
Oh yeah.
across the plane of existence. But
It
when
is.
it stands up,
Yeah. It will fucking take off. Yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And we will be.
I'm not much of an optimist when you're like, oh, this thing we created that doesn't that perceives our reality in a different way may eventually make the decisions for us. You go, oh, man.
Yeah, we're fucked. Yeah. And it just goes back to say that if a kid in the Cub Scouts can make a nuclear reactor, and people have done this before, somebody could definitely make an AI language and then upload it to the internet. Once it gets on the internet, all the data is basically there, and it
just
will
goes
just
and
take
gets
off
it.
from there. So, yeah. And, we're just going to be fucked. Or maybe we won't be fucked. Who knows? I don't want to test it.
I don't want to see it. I don't want it.
No,
I don't want it.
I don't. Just after looking at
trade
that,
some stuff back. You can have Instagram back. You can have you people would disagree strongly, but you don't need Twitter. As a species, we don't need that shit.
No, we don't.
I feel like Facebook is fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you could go through maybe and clean it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, Facebook is fine. You
Yeah.
can not see people. You can see people. You can turn things off. Facebook's
do
just
that. Yeah.
And I mean, but you know what? I could still live without that.
Oh yeah, easily.
With no hesitation. Facebook,
Right.
but I'm like, if you're to keep one social media platform,
Might as well.
it's because Facebook is,
it's become universal. Yes, it's the new MySpace now.
But I
so.
trade that. But you know what? I won't trade Google. I'm not.
No,
trading.
hell fucking no.
And they're gonna be responsible for all of it.
Yeah,
But I'm not
because
trading
Google has saved my ass plenty of times.
I'm not trading Google, and I'm not trading YouTube. Because YouTube is on bullshit. You mentioned that on your podcast, and I think about it all the time. Because I'm like, man, I should be monetized by now with the new way they got it set up.
Right.
And but I'm also like, yeah, but they're the only one for a reason.
Right.
Because they're like, we figured out how to do this.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
And everyone on Earth is now with smartphones. Everyone on Earth is contributing things. You're like, how do I change this very specific part on my model of my car?
Right.
How do I change out the faucet in my kitchen? How do I,
Yeah.
You could go on YouTube and be like, here's how to replace your hot water heater.
Exactly.
Before that, you could have
Exactly.
looked it up online and you still would have been like, I'm not sure I could do that.
Right,
'Cause
yeah.
There's not like a video step-by-step
Exactly.
thing.
Now you got that visual to where you be like, I could do that shit. Yeah. Yeah.
But even then, so you could look it up so you could still walk on the wild side. But then before that, you were just, I don't know.
Yeah. It was either you knew how to do it or you didn't, or you wanted to walk on the wild side.
Yeah, because if you went and got a book from the library, it was like a textbook from like a water heater.
Yeah, from like the
class.
very first fucking
Yeah,
model
you'd be
of
like,
water heater.
Yeah,
You're
like, now you
shit.
want that veteran experience. You want someone who's like, well, if this goes wrong, this is the fix for that.
Yeah, and then YouTube, you go in there and like, it's a guy like, well, you know what, this is how you're going to do it. If you don't got this model, then you got this model, okay? And I'm telling you, it's not that hard.
And if this happens, you do this. Like,
Yeah,
you turn this
exactly.
off, you switch this.
Yeah. You want to switch this down, and then you're good to go, okay? But yeah, that was our rabbit hole. The episode of the day.
This is a good one though. I've enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like we said, so we've become incredibly dependent on them because I am willing to trade social media, but Google, the computers aren't going to want to trade social media.
No, they won't.
It's too valuable.
Yeah.
We're like, this is what our kids look like, and this is what in front of my house looks like, and this is when I'm in this room, this is what it looks like.
Right, yeah.
And here's my GPS coordinates.
Exactly.
While
the computers are like,
walking
wow,
around.
really?
Yeah. They might not be doing anything with it right now, but they're putting it together.
Yeah.
That they're at least like constructing an image. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
this house in this very place in this part of the world is this guy, and he lives there, and there's these other people here, and they're here X amount of time, and the rooms are this size.
Once
and
they
they
learn how to put all that shit together, it's like Legos, man. You just start piecing that shit together, and you're like, okay, got it.
Yep.
And then we're fucked.
They're building it. It looks tripped out right now,
It does, yeah.
but they're figuring this out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
happening.
So yeah, this has been episode 6 of Pod Caviar. Apparently we're all gonna die. Yeah, we went down this deep dark rabbit hole.
Shit got dark.
And this was good. I want to have things. I want to provide information for people to think that sit back and think like, oh shit.
Yeah,
You know,
should at least.
It went from I give you a hamburger to I know everything about you,
Right.
every fucking thing.
Yeah, and now I'm just down to trying to figure out how it is you perceive the world around you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I exist in.
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking electric ghost.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
I'm starting to put together how you perceive the
Yeah.
world around.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. There's no other way to
And I
present
want
it.
to perceive how you live and
I
how you
apologize for
are.
nothing. There's no other way to present
And
it.
at the same time, make you depend on me more and more.
Yep.
And yeah, that's where we're headed. So, again, this has been episode 6. Thank you, Graham, for coming on here and
Love it.
being amazing. Check out Sports with a Capital F podcast. You can just Google that and evil Google. Yeah, you
exactly,
can Google
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Punch it in there.
Yeah. And then it'll give you everything that you need to know. Please subscribe. And go ahead now. What's the number for your podcast?
Oh, yeah. If you would like to discuss any end of the world things with the Sports with Capital podcast or anything that's on your mind, you hit me up at 847-665-9238. 847-665-9238. I certainly hope that's the right number because I said it twice. But why don't you give it a call? Let's see how it works out.
Oh, yeah. And if that doesn't work out, or you just want to yell at both of us or have something to say for both podcasts, you can please get in contact with Pod Caviar at 443-747-1417. That is 443-747-1417. And like I said, you can text that number, you can call it, leave a voicemail, and you have a chance to be featured on a future episode. And as always, I am so appreciative to every one of you. All the feedback and everything has been very great. You can reach me at Not Having It. That is pretty much my whole social media life, especially on Twitter. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so. Subscribe to Pod Caviar and Sports with a Capital F. As always, thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Graham, for being here. This has been a great episode. This is a Grand Slam episode.
People learned a lot today.
Yeah, this is
no
a
way
Grand
around
Slam
it.
episode.
No way
Holy
around
shit.
it, General. You go up top.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's see y'all next episode. We're out.